This is AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by Manny Robles, trainer of current unified heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz. Manny, it's been a while since you. Last time was actually in London when they were doing the press tour. It seems like Andy has lost a bit of weight. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, he's lost some weight, absolutely.
Thinking behind that?
No, I mean it's part of the process. I mean it's part of training. You're gonna lose the weight, and we're not where we want to be yet, but we're close.
Okay. Where do you want to be on fight night in Saudi Arabia from when he first fought Joshua on June 1st? How lighter?
It's how is Andy going to feel? Where does he feel where he's at his best? Really, that's the question. It doesn't have to be a specific weight. Does that make sense? He's gotta feel comfortable. He's gotta feel good where he's at, and I gotta see where he's at, where he's able to perform at his best, and then catch him at that weight and say, okay, this is where we need to be.
So about feeling good rather than hitting a specific number.
Absolutely, it's about feeling good. It's about feeling at your best. It's particularly him. He's just different. We don't want to hit a specific weight. Really thinking thoroughly, we want him to feel at his best.
Talking about feeling at your best, do you think Andy was at his best on June 1st, considering he didn't have much time to prepare? He took the fight on short notice against Anthony Joshua.
Correct.
Was he at his best on that night?
I don't think so. Sitting back and obviously looking at the fight now on numerous occasions, I feel that he wasn't. I feel that we still have more to do, more work to do, mentally, physically, a better fighter. I believe you'll see a mentally, physically a better fighter this time around.
How has he changed, if he has at all? I'm not talking about in a physical way, perhaps more in a mental capacity. Have you noticed anything different from when he became unified heavyweight world champion?
I mean, he's still the same person outside of boxing. It's the same individual. But boxing-wise, I believe he's got a bigger responsibility now, knowing he's a world champion. So he's got that sense of responsibility. We talk about that from time to time. Remind him, hey, listen, this isn't just about you anymore. You got a whole country behind you here in America, obviously, in Mexico, and not just Mexico and the U.S., but all over the world. I mean, he's picked up fans everywhere. So we got a responsibility towards them people and to make sure that we keep those belts.
We know Anthony Joshua is obviously from the UK, but even if he walked the streets of London or Manchester anyway, he'd get mobbed in the UK.
It's incredible, and I'm sure same thing happens with Anthony Joshua. He's just a class act. He's a great individual, great fighter. You know what I mean? And it's something that we have to do. Fight again.
Talked about if he's changed at all mentally, or you've noticed any different. How about you? Are you learning things about yourself since that fight? Has anything changed in terms of your mental aspect?
Good question. We never stop growing. We never stop learning. We never stop getting better. That's just it. I mean, we should never be happy from where we are. You know what I mean? We should continue to grow. We should continue to get better as people, and obviously as in boxing as well.
I remember the time I interviewed you the day after, so that would have been June 2nd in a hotel in New York. You were quite emotional that day.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you still get that emotion back some days? Do you feel like sometimes a dream, or is it sunk in?
I'm an emotional person. That's why I work as hard as I do, because I believe in what I do. I believe in myself. I believe in my boxers. I don't think that's ever going to change, especially understanding and knowing where we come from, or where I come from, particularly everything that I've had to endure in life to get to where I'm at today. And the most important thing is just not changing, remaining who you are as a person, staying true to yourself and true to who you are, and not forgetting where you come from. Because the moment you forget where you come from, you have no direction in life.
Andy, when he fought Joseph Parker, was obviously going into the fight as a challenger, went into the Anthony Joshua fight as a challenger. This time he's the champion. Mm-hmm. Is there extra pressure because he's defending the belts? You know what?
We still treat the situation the same way. We still feel like, okay, we're still the challengers. We're still out there. We understand that, we hold the belts, and Andy is the world champion, but we have to train as challengers. We have to remain hungry. We have to stay hungry. We have to We understand that the situation isn't what, excuse me, what we what we want. The situation isn't what we want, but but we understand that we don't have the upper hand. In this case, Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, they do have the upper hand. They do hold the upper card. Why? Because it's their show. If we had anything to do with where we're fighting, we wouldn't be fighting in Saudi Arabia. We'd be fighting in America, maybe Las Vegas, maybe California. So this is their show. So with that said, we're coming in as challengers. We understand we're not the favorites. Even if you look at the bets, the betting now, we're not. A lot of people are not holding us, or thinking we will win again. So we have to prove the world wrong. We have to prove everyone that does not still believe. We have to make them believe. We have to. But the most important thing is that we believe in ourselves. That we did it once. We're gonna have to go out there and do it again.
I remember on fight week when we were around Anthony Joshua, all the questions were about Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, even Dylan White was being mentioned. No one talked about Andy Ruiz. Now, this time round, I'm sure Andy Ruiz on fight week in Saudi Arabia is going to have questions about Deontay Wilder, about Tyson Fury. But I'm sure in this camp, it is just literally Anthony Joshua. And as you said, you still feel like you're the challenger. So I think that kind of answers that question anyways.
Absolutely. We can not allow to look past. We cannot allow ourselves to look past Anthony Joshua. It's not in our nature. We don't think that way. I wouldn't allow Andy to think this way. We have Anthony Joshua next, and that's the only thing that's in our mind.
How proud are you as a Mexican, Andy, as a Mexican, that you've reached this height, worked so hard throughout your journey, kind of come under the radar, I think it's fair to say as well, because I think people in boxing know how good of a fighter Andy Ruiz is, just have to look at his amateur record, but wider audience. We didn't think he'd be unified heavyweight champion of the world one day. How proud are you from where you've come to where you are right now? Well,
I'm definitely proud to be Mexican and not forgetting my heritage and where I come from, but I'm also proud of being American, or Mexican American. I'm extremely humbled by where I am today, and understanding that I come from another country, but I only come here to prosper and to do good for myself and for my family, and that's the reason why we're here. You know what I mean? A lot of people, unfortunately, they see us differently, and they criticize us, or they talk about us in a different way. But people have to understand that we're no different from anyone else. We're just here to work. We're here to take care of our families and provide for them, and look for a better quality of life. And I speak for myself, but I also speak for an entire community, because I understand the challenges and everything that we have to go through on a daily basis to be here. So I'm proud. I'm proud of who I am and where I am and where I'm going. And again, as I said, and really at the end of the day, it's not forgetting where we come from that keeps me here.
As a Mexican American, is life still tough? Do you face challenges daily living in America from Mexican heritage?
I think so. I think from time to time, and I think so. I think from time to time, and not necessarily speaking for myself, but speaking for my community, my people, and seeing their daily challenges and everything that they have to go through. It's tough, because whatever happens to my people happens to me. It affects me. I'm not.
Is it the same with Andy? Does he feel that as well?
Absolutely. That's what we fight for. That's what we don't just. Again, as I said, it's not just about our families anymore. It's not just about us, but it's about an entire community, an entire country here in America. And I'm not just speaking for Mexican people, for all of the Latin American people that come from different parts of America, sort of Central South America, that we can identify ourselves with them very well, because we all go through the same things. And even people people from other walks of life and other countries that come here searching for the American dream. You know what I mean? I believe that most of these people are good people. I believe that, and it's boxing. It's a beautiful sport, because it gives you the opportunity to meet people from all walks of life. I've been fortunate enough to travel the world and to meet different people, cultures, religions, and we're all the same. We're all one people, and that's what makes You know, that's what makes America so beautiful, so wonderful. But I just wish that the rest of America would see things from a different perspective and know that we're all the same.
Okay, just to round this interview off, moving to December 7th, we've talked about Andy. In terms of Anthony Joshua, if you were training him, or I'll ask this from a different approach. Do you expect a completely different Anthony Joshua? Do you expect a certain game plan within early on, etc.? Everyone's talking about using his size and his reach and his jab, etc. What kind of Anthony Joshua are you expecting? Are you expecting the same one as June the 1st?
That's a good question. We have to be ready for everything. We have to be ready for an Anthony Joshua that might be thinking about, going toe-to-toe. But then again, we have to think about an Anthony Joshua that might go out there and try to use his height, his distance to box and stay away and try to outbox Andy. So we pretty much have to be ready for everything. We have to have a plan A and a plan B, and, we plan to execute those plans no matter what, at any cost.
Well, Manny, I really enjoyed that. I appreciate your time here in camp. Next time I'll see you will be in Saudi Arabia. So till then, best of luck with Andy. And as I said, I'll see you out in Saudi.
You got it.